Hello, party people. Welcome back. Welcome back. You get 3 weeks, Gail. 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. So today I have one of my besties, Jessica Geller. I'm going to apologize ahead of time, everyone, because I have dogs around me. So everyone's vying for my attention, even though they see that I'm working. So I have Jessica Geller from Toledo Geller. You guys have been in business for a long time. You're partners on vacation. There's so much I want to talk to you about. Tell the people who you are. She's a fabulous mom of three. I'll stop talking. Go ahead. Tell them who you are and your business and what's it about. And the residential, commercial, all of the above.
Oh, thanks, Gail. I'm so happy to be here with you. It's so fun because Gail and I are friends in addition to colleagues. So it's really cool to be interviewed by you right now. I am one half of Toledo Geller. So we've had our business for 15 years now.
Wow.
Hard to believe it's been that long. We started in New York City, and I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago, we moved to New Jersey, both Virginia and I moved our families. Our families to New Jersey. So we followed with our business as well. And now we still have clients in New York City. We have clients in New Jersey, all over the tri-state area. We've done some projects a little bit further as well. It's mostly residential. We've done a couple of commercial projects, really because of our residential clients who have said, can you do this for me in my own office now? So we've kind of gotten our feet wet in a little bit of commercial design, but it really is primarily high-end interior design for homeowners.
Nice. Which do you like better doing? I don't know. Which one is easier? Is there one that's easier, residential or commercial?
I think most people say that commercial is easier, but for me, residential is easier because I have to feel really connected to a person or a family. For me, it's all about like understanding how people work, what would make their home function better, what would make their lives easier at home, how the design can make living better for them. So I need that personal connection to be inspired. It's much harder for me to design for the masses or a fake person, somebody that we like create in our head.
Speaking of fake person, let's talk about the whole home. Yes. So was that a show house or did someone buy the house already? Like, that's what I was confused about. Explain. Okay, so the ladies were a part of Whole Home with House Beautiful, and you did the primary suite, correct?
Yes, the owner's suite. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how did that come about? And then, once again, is it a show house? Like, you have to break down at the end. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so this was the fourth year that House Beautiful has had the whole home concept. So they had reached out to Raymond, who we know, to ask if we were available, and he reached out to us and connected everybody. So we were really excited about the opportunity. It was a little bit of a question mark about whether or not we would do it because of COVID and knowing how many delays the design industry has experienced. We were like, are products even available right now? Can we know that we'll be able to get what we need to Texas?
Right.
So
it's in Fredericksburg, Texas. And how, this is the room, people. Yes. So how far is it from or outside of where?
Okay, so we flew into Austin. It's about a little over an hour from Austin. It's also a little over an hour from San Antonio. So it's in Hill Country. It's a beautiful area. It's a small little German town. So it's really charming. It's not what you would expect, but we were driving through Hill Country. I mean, it was desolate. It was as country as it can get. There were times where we were like, are we really in the right place right now? But then you stumble into this adorable town, and it's got great restaurants, great shopping, just all of that charm. There's wineries all around. So it was a really cool area. So I guess House Beautiful had linked up with the builder of the house, and he was interested in partnering with the designers. He has a little bit of a design background and he's interested in design. So that was helpful because some of our, you know, designers can come with big ideas, and he was not scared to let us do those things for the most part. Obviously, there are a few points of contention along the way. Right. I'd be happy to talk about all of those in detail.
Well, if you watch the interviews, you can tell like each designer had like a little tug of war with him about the design and the aesthetic. And he was very married to brick, as you can see.
Yes, he loves brick.
Married to, yeah. But go ahead.
There's a Texas look. And so obviously he knows his clientele and his market. So it's a fine line because he ultimately has to sell this house, and that's his responsibility. And so he wants to make sure that what the designers are doing are going to help him sell his house. And also that as designers, we don't know what the other design firms are doing. So he wants to make sure that the house kind of from one room to the next progresses and makes some sense. Not one crazy idea here in the next room, something that completely clashes with that. So normally in a show house, it's really each room is its own and you don't necessarily have to worry about flow. Here he was worried about flow. So the wall color in here, we actually wanted to carry out into a vestibule in a similar kind of hue. And he was like, absolutely not. You don't know what the designer who's doing the living room is doing, but let me tell you, it's going to look crazy. So we had to work off of that. But it was a great opportunity. We loved working on it. It's always fun to be in a show house and do riskier things than you normally would. Like a yellow wallpaper, for instance.
Oh, that's wallpaper.
It's a wallpaper. Yeah. It's a Philip Jeffries paper. It looks like a little bit of a blend between linen and faux bois. Really cool. And we wanted something, of course, that's going to stand out and that we're going to be able to experiment with in a way, but we also knew that we have many years of experience. We know ultimately what's going to work, but we didn't want to be something bland and vanilla and boring because a show house is an opportunity to kind of show what you can do.
No, very beautiful. Let's talk about this bedroom. How did you come up with the concept? And that light fixture is amazing. And how did you, because the space, you can tell it has high ceilings, but it really looks like it's cozy. And that's hard to do, to like have a high ceiling and make it feel like it's a small space and very comfortable.
That was one of the things that we really wanted to focus on right away. We could tell from the floor plan when we were sent it initially that it's not as sprawling as a lot of new construction projects are, that it's not this huge room that has a sitting area or, lots of space to spread out. But we also knew that the ceilings were super high. And so we needed to balance everything that you see at the top had to feel.
Sorry. Keep going.
Is that Daisy?
What I'm talking about.
Hey, or Jasper.
Sorry. You can see me yelling hey to them. But go ahead. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So we had the idea to put the texture on the ceiling to kind of warm it up, bring some of that scale down. Of course, a designer's favorite trick in a room with high ceilings is to use a canopy bed. So that was a no-brainer for us in this space to envelop and make you feel really cozy. We layered area rugs one on top of another, but one of them they're both the same color and tone, but they're very different textures. The one on top is a really thick, cozy alpaca. The one underneath has more of like a linen-like texture from Fiberworks. So you're playing, as a designer, you're playing with all of these different elements to really bring down the scale, envelop the room. You can see the bathroom beyond there, which was another point of contention with the builder. He just switched out the material without even letting us know, let alone asking.
Okay. Yeah. Why did he justify, or did he just keep it moving?
So there you can see that was the gray Carrera tile was really supposed to be the lilac tile, which has like a ton of movement. It's purple,
Right.
purple and white marble. And I think he waited too long to order it, and he just told us that it wasn't available.
Right.
And then instead of asking us what he should do to substitute or alter, he just got this. He didn't even tell us. They were sending us a picture of something else, and we were like, hold on a second. What is that? And they're like, oh, yeah. There were a lot of curse words flying that day.
Wait, Annie, can we go back to the bathroom picture? Because I just have a quick question. So the artwork, the tub is amazing. I want to talk about the tub.
Amazing. We love that tub. You know, we love color.
Right.
We don't shy away from using color. And so we saw this tub on Signature Hardware's website, and we said, we have to have that tub. So they became a sponsor of the bathroom, which was awesome because they were excited to showcase their tub as well. So that one was a beast to carry in. We watched the crew. There were, I think, 8 men getting it into this bathroom. It was a heavy tub. And everyone was holding their breath the whole time.
And this is on the ground floor. The primary is on the ground floor because I see there's a door. It looks like the doorway was next to the fireplace, walks out.
Yes, it's a single level home. Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't get to finish telling you. So even before the house was finished being designed, at some point during the design process, he had a buyer. So
nice.
So the house was sold, or I think it's actually the sale is finalizing this week, but it was in contract to sell while we were still installing. Mm-hmm. And Tyler, the builder, was so, we had a huge fight about the yellow wallpaper as well. And he was like, House Beautiful was like, they want this paper, just give them the paper. If we need to pay to take it down and paint or whatever after the show house, we will. And it turns out that the new homeowners loved the wallpaper. They loved everything in the room. They bought the whole room furnished.
Nice. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, let's stay at this shot, Annie, because I want to talk about the sink. Breaking down a show house, like doing a show house is anxiety, but breaking it down is even more anxiety because now you have to return stuff back to people or whatever, and you have to be very careful. And then when you take things down, whoever owns the home can really be like, you know, not nice about it and like ding you with, you know, getting it fixed back to normal. I love what you all did with this bathroom. Tell me what was the inspiration and how did you arrive at this? Because is that woodwork there?
It is, yeah. So we knew that the bathroom is big. We wanted to make an impact, a statement with the floor. We didn't have a tile sponsor on board. The builder was able to cover some of the tile or all of the tile if there was no sponsor. But because of that, we knew we needed to keep the costs on the lower end. And so we chose readily available material and had it all cut down to size and made this pattern ourselves. So you're looking at a 12 by 12 in the middle, then you're looking at a 6 by 12, that's the white strip, and then which was a 12 by 12 that we cut down in half, and then we quartered it to make the squares. So we wanted to create an impact, but not break the bank because getting something custom made like this would be much more expensive. But these are all materials that you can get anywhere, like Home Depot, Lowe's, Floor and Decor. Yeah, it's just a little trick to have the tile installer do the labor to cut it down, and they're easy cuts for him to make. And so, you know, we love high-end design, but we also love accessible design. We started out 15 years ago when we were babies, and not all of our clients had big budgets. And so we had to get really creative with how we would do things. And so it's always fun for us to kind of go back to that and think, how can we make something that looks extremely high-end, extremely custom, and get it for a fraction of the price.
Well, that's the name of the game. Tell me about this. Is that a brass sink? I'm trying. A copper
Oh,
center?
it's yeah, it's like a hammered metal.
Very beautiful.
Isn't that so pretty?
Oh my God. And what I'm like pointing back, like you can see what's across coming back, like in the first initial part of the picture here to your left.
Oh, it's like a little towel storage, a linen closet kind of thing. There's right where the camera is at, like taking the shot, is the walk-in closet. And so this is a little bit of a drop-off area. We had toyed with maybe putting some, there's this whole suite is really separated from the rest of the house. It feels like a totally different zone. And so it's a little farther from the kitchen. And so within the closet, we had incorporated like a little coffee bar and a mini fridge.
Nice. That's very Texas,
like,
by the way. That's a very Southern thing to do.
Yeah. So we've heard.
It's a very Southern thing.
Yeah. So we wanted to have the ability for this to feel like a little bit more of a spa and like a little bit of a retreat from the main space.
I love it.
They can put their, cucumber water here.
So do you know, Annie, you could go through, I'll stop you when we need. I love the shots. Where did you get the artwork from? Or is it just
we partnered with a gallery I had seen on Instagram, Well and Wonder. I guess I was like being spammed with things that, because I like certain artwork, they were like, you might like this. And I saw this gallery. It's not even local. And we reached out to them and said, hey, we're doing this show house. Can we borrow artwork? And she had reached out to a lot of their artists. And so
stay right there, Annie. Sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
A lot of the artists, they were so happy to participate. I think we had 4 different artists that are represented through the gallery, Well and Wonder. And they lent us the artwork. And of course, most of the artwork the new homeowners bought.
That is wonderful. So I love how the shower is. Was that still your idea, or was that switched up on you as well?
The tile patterns, you mean?
Yes.
That was switched up on us. There was a time a couple of months ago when you would have heard me say that will never see the light of day. No, we will not let anybody see these pictures.
But I mean, is that color, like there's a lot going on here, but it's very beautiful. And I love that you made it seamless, because, sometimes you can look through and in the primary suite and you look through and it can be messy, but the way you set it up, like it's just nice sight lines, and there's no way for like a hamper to be in the way, or like you have.
Right.
So
that was one of the first things that we saw when we got the floor plan. The bedroom looks right into the bathroom, and then beyond that is the closet. And so that's why you see closed cabinets right in front of us in this image. The hanging space and folded storage is all to the side, which you wouldn't see when you're coming down the hallway. Because who wants to see that? You want to go into your bedroom and have it be an oasis, and you don't want to have to always clean up after yourself.
Right.
So now at least it's all hidden.
Now, is there a washer dryer in the primary or no?
Not over here. I have no idea when the washer dryer is.
It's probably in Sabi's area, Stephanie's area.
Oh, yes. You're right. It is.
Okay.
In the mudroom.
And I love the shots here, because this is what was outside.
And so we sent our photographer, Jacob, to Texas last week. These are the photos that he took there right before the whole house has been broken down. And so we told him we want him to capture the essence of what we're seeing in Texas, because the landscape is so different there. I never would have thought. It really, in the video that we did that's on YouTube, we talk about how it's like, it felt like we were in a safari.
Right.
But I kid you not. I mean, there were livestock just walking across the street. Like, it was bizarre.
So whose livestock was it? Was it just the people in the area, or just you don't even know?
Yeah, I have no idea. It was a flock of lambs.
So was the whole home open to the public for them to come walk through and see? It was? Oh my God. I'm
Yeah.
so upset because I would want to see it in person because it really, first of all, I'm excited that it was one level.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And it's just, I'm getting older, so I like that. I love the detailing and the texture. Is that fabric cut?
Yes.
Okay. I love that.
It's the veil, which is sold through Fabric Cut.
Okay. And who is the linen by? Your bed linen?
All by Tencel for Pottery Barn. And that big, thick throw blanket
Chunky.
in the front. Yep, that's a weighted blanket by Barably or Barabee.
Okay.
But I don't know if you sleep with a weighted blanket, but I can't not sleep with one now. So like if I go to a hotel room, I have a hard time sleeping because I'm so used to it.
Yeah, and the Veil London, her fabric is amazing. That's very beautiful. Yeah,
I
was like,
love her fabric.
I know.
It's also on the window treatments and the bench at the foot of the bed.
Perfect. Her linen is like none other. She's really good. Wow, that's a beautiful picture. Jacob is really like being the photographer here.
He's the best.
Yes.
We've been using him for just as long as we've had. He's the only photographer we've ever used. So
really,
we've worked with him. I mean, we've been in business 15 years. We weren't photographing 15 years ago. I would say probably 12 years we've known him.
Mm-hmm.
So we've all grown up together.
Okay. So what was your experience, and would you do another show house like this?
I mean, we always say like, no, never again. But then of course the phone rings or an email comes through and say, oh, okay, we'll do that. It's like childbirth. You forget how terrible it is and you can have another one.
You're like, yeah, I'll never do this again. We want 4 more. You're like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, this experience was probably a little bit easier than some show houses because they had so many sponsors on board already. So we knew that out of pocket was only going to be so much for us. Right. So that the expense part of it made that easier to make the commitment. Of course, this bed we custom designed. The bed is Fabric Cut fabric. That stripe is one of my newest favorites. It's like watery stripe, so it's not so high contrast. It's so pretty. Right.
This is a great shot, and I love the artwork above the bed. It's just very simple, and it plays with it. Yeah. You guys have to be very pleased. All right, so let's switch gears, and we could still show some of the pictures, Annie, so people can see. If you have questions, please hop in there and ask your questions of Jessica, and we'll get them answered. What has been your biggest learning lesson with running a business? Because you and Virginia have a staff, y'all have a team, which is very different than a solopreneur and virtual people. What are some of the lessons that you have learned, and what did you think a design was, and what do you know it to be? Because you watch HGTV and you think this is what it is, and then you're running a business and you're like, this is different.
Yeah. Okay. So I think one of the biggest things I've learned is that we only know what we know, and we're not experts on everything. And so when we need to call in an expert for whatever reason, I wish we had brought those people in earlier. When I say that, I mean like a bookkeeper, an accountant, a PR person, a marketing person, all of those things, as a business owner, you're in charge of so much, right? But I didn't become a business owner because I wanted to own a business. It was because I wanted to do interior design. But those two things
collide.
They become merged. They definitely collide. And so there's obviously 15 years later, we're still here. So we know how to run a business. We know all of those things, but it's certainly, I didn't come with any kind of business background. So that has been something that we've learned that is extremely important, to call in on other experts in their fields, and collaborate with those kinds of people. What did I think design was going to be? I probably thought it was going to be design. It's not. It's a lot of, every designer says it's such a small portion of creative, and the rest is really
10%.
execution and management and getting things to happen. So, we have a team that helps us get everything done, because at this point it's just way too much for us to do it all on our own. So we have our junior designer, we have a project manager, we have a purchasing expediter, a project coordinator, a draftsman. There's a lot going on behind the scenes to make it all happen.
Yeah, I think people think like it's all fun. Now, you said you started 15 years ago. I know you have a very different clientele, because when we all start out, we're just like, we'll take what we can get and we'll figure it out and work it. And, you eventually find yourself going, okay, I need to really switch gears. One, because I need to make sure my business is profitable and I can't be running around for 10 cents on the dollar. The other thing is that you really want to make sure that it's your design aesthetic coming through, and not someone who wants to bring you a picture of, some strip mall ad and be like, this is what I want. You want to be able to elevate it. How did you all transition? Because also we have the same business coach, Kimberly Selvin, right? Kimberly. Which really, I know, right? Helped transform your business. How were you able to make that transition? Or when did you say it's time for us? When did the two of you agree, like, okay, enough of this, we need to get here?
Yeah, I think that kind of happened gradually and organically. I think as we started growing up, so did our previous clients, and they were kind of going in the same life path that we were. And so their budgets got bigger, their projects got bigger. So I think that was something that sort of happened on its own. Once we started getting press and really a little bit of notoriety and people who recognize our work or recognize our name, that all just in a way made it on its own become something that the level of the caliber of the work that we do went along with it.
Right.
So people stopped calling us to do smaller projects. They stopped calling us to do one rooms. They kind of had the idea from looking at our work that you probably don't take on a project of this size. So it all sort of just happened on its own, I think.
Yeah. Is there a part that you absolutely love? And what's the part where you're like, no, let's just give this to somebody else to do? Because it is for all of us. For me, it's the numbers. I'm like, y'all could have that. Let me get my person on the phone. She needs to handle that. I can't. Yes.
My least favorite part is when it's like the smaller things, like the details.
Right.
I don't like picking out the final elements, but Virginia says that that's my department.
Right.
Something that I like, because I'm good at it. I just dread doing it. So I'll put it on the back burner, like picking out the bedding, art, accessories, all of those things. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But then I finally block out a day in my calendar and I tackle it. And I'm in the middle of them like, oh, actually, I do kind of like this. But Virginia will be like, excuse me, let me transfer you to the bedding department. She'll put me, and it's always my role.
No, well, you're really good at it. Someone has a question. They put in, what software system do they use to manage their projects?
So we use Ivy, which I think is sort of it's now Ivy merged with House. We're not merged with House, so I'm not sure how accurate our Ivy system is these days. But we are early adapters of Ivy. We started using it right around the time that they launched. And so it's hard, we always say old dog, new tricks. It's kind of hard to get us out of our own way. We also use Basecamp to keep our team on check. So we have every project has its own Basecamp folder, and we can assign tasks. We can check tasks off that way. So everyone on the team, even if we're not in person all of the time together, we know who's doing what and what's been taken off the to-do list and what we still have yet to do.
So let's talk about that. COVID happened. So you went from being in the office to now everyone remote. How were you able to still move your projects forward and with ease? And did you think it was done with ease, or was it really like, oh, we need to be in the same room?
There's something about collaborating together that
Agreed.
We all missed, and being in person and sitting at the same table and looking at swatches together, and even just having a logistical meeting at a table that was hard for us. We are people who like to be social and with each other and in the same room. So that was definitely a strain, but we did manage to pull things off during COVID and being, remote from one another for quite some time. I think we're all very happy to be in person again, but we are still trying to figure out a 1 day remote for our staff, because we have also noticed that it's hard to get things done at the same time that we love getting things done with the whole team together.
Right,
it's also hard because it's so easy for somebody to just say, oh, hey, you're sitting right there. Let me just steal you for a quick question.
Right.
And then you lose your train of thought. So I think for me personally, to have that time to just be able to zone out and do what I need to do without any interruptions is really important. And I think some of our other staff members probably feel the same way.
I can understand that. I just lost my train of thought. There was a question. Oh, how many projects do you all do a year? And how do you, well, I can't even say a year, because if you get a whole home, that's like 2 years, and now it's COVID, it's almost like 5.
Oh my God, it's forever. We have somebody who's like, yeah, I want to start working with you guys. And, right now we're booking projects out already in 2022. And we're like, so by the time we actually start, then we take a couple of months to design, and then it's going to take a year for your stuff to come. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Right.
But you got to start somewhere. We used to be around 20 something projects a year, or at a time, I should say, all in different phases, different sizes of projects. That was pre-COVID, and we had probably smaller projects then. Now we have much bigger projects right now because of, I don't know if it's because of COVID and people were moving and changing how they lived and all of that. I think right now we'd probably be under 15. Somewhere around that mark. So a little bit less, but we've increased our staff at the same time that we took on bigger projects.
Okay. And are they local, or are they all over? Because I know you guys work a lot in the city. And do you have a lot of, the city is, I guess, out of state because we are in New Jersey.
Yeah, we have some in Connecticut right now. We have Westchester, and all over New Jersey. We just finished a project in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, which we went to a site meeting this week, and it's a 2.5 hour. I mean, it's like the bottom of New Jersey. So you might as well be in Pennsylvania or Delaware at that point. It's like exit 10 on the Parkway.
Okay. Yeah, that's far out. It's funny, people don't realize how big Jersey is until you have to really go somewhere. And I have a designer friend. She's like, oh, I'm going to be in Jersey. I'm going to be near you. And then she told me where it is. I was like, you are like 2.5 hours away from me. Like, no, I can't help you with that. So very funny. Yes. Your staff, how do you interview to know that you're getting the right people? Because you guys have a kick-ass team.
Well, thanks to you. Because Janine, Janine, who is on, she was our design assistant, and now she's our junior designer. we had told Gail, or I don't even know, I think we put something on Instagram and you were like, hold on, I've got the girl for you.
Yes.
Don't even interview further. So yeah, I mean, for interviewing, it's me and Virginia who do most of it. Again, this is where you're like calling the experts. We are not HR department. So it's hard for us to know what we're doing, to know that we're interviewing rightly. It's mostly about chemistry, I think, for us, because it is a small firm, a small team, and we do really believe in teamwork. We like to have fun with each other. So we always think about how will that personality fit in with our team. I think that's really almost as important as knowing that they have the skill set, because truthfully, depending on what role it is, a lot of it can be learned.
Right. Well, I know you all like to hang out because I saw the Halloween picture.
Yes.
I was like, oh my goodness, they love Halloween. And I texted Virginia, I was like, I hate Halloween.
You know what? That's the first time I've dressed up in years. I don't love Halloween, but I had put on the calendar before COVID, when it was only 4 of us, me, Virginia, Janine, and Marion. We didn't have the rest of our team. And I had put on the calendar years ago, or a year or two, I guess a year and a half or 2 years ago. And it said, Halloween costume, get it ready. We're going to be the Golden Girls, because there were 4 of us.
Right.
And so that alert came up, it popped up in early October, and we were like, oh my God, when did we write that? Like, I barely even remember. But then everyone was like, oh, well, then there's more, we can't be the Golden Girls, but let's come up with something that we can all do together. And so, you know what, it took probably, we had lunch that day together. We did our staff meeting all dressed up. So, and we have deliveries all the time. So the funniest thing was that all of the delivery men who came in didn't even think it was weird that we were all sitting, because it was days before actual Halloween. We did it on the Wednesday, and Halloween wasn't until Sunday. Nobody even winced at the fact that we had all of these wigs and outfits and everything. It was so funny. But we had lunch together that day, and then we did a little video thing, and it took an hour, but I think it really helps to the team morale to take these fun breaks and enjoy just being together, because it's like a family, right? We spend so much time with each other. So it's important to have fun.
Let's talk about the library that you're sitting in. How often do you update it? Because you have a kick-ass library. How do I know? Because I try to use it a lot. I'm always like, can I come out today? I'll come out for a couple of hours. I promise I won't bother you all. And next thing you know, we're all around the table talking.
We don't stop talking. It's the best. You're the one who forces us to come out of our desks and eat lunch as human beings.
You're like, I got work to do. I was like, you always have work to do. Let's eat lunch.
I know. It's the best. It's the best. I gotta be honest, I don't handle the library, so I have no idea. I think vendors send us things and then somebody puts them away.
Well, that's easy. But what about when you find something, you're like, it's out of stock? Because that's the other thing too. You have to make sure especially now, I feel like so much is out of stock. Are you working on any kitchens right now? Projects?
Oh my gosh, we are about to finish a beautiful kitchen that they started in March, and they have been living, it's a young family, they've been living without a kitchen, with their babies in their house since March. Their stove just got delivered yesterday, so it's almost done.
Yeah, I have a client now who wanted KitchenAid, and there was a particular stove because you could do colors, and she wanted a color, and my vendor got back to me. It was like, we're not doing any colors for the next year. We're only doing the stainless steel. We need to just get this out. We're not making colors. And I told her, and she was like, what? I'm like, I told you. So anybody doing a kitchen right now, please don't rip it out.
I know I have a Sub-Zero refrigerator in my house that I think it's actually, I was in high school when the previous homeowners bought it. It's old, but it's a Sub-Zero. And so you just replace the parts, because it continues to work. But I am just if this thing kicks it, I know that there's a year wait list for a new refrigerator. I will never
and even parts. They
I
can't even get
know.
parts right now, which is crazy. So that's right. You just moved into a new home. What project are you working on? What's the biggest project for you that you're like has to get done, even though, has to get done is relative?
Well, I mean, all of it. I said to my husband, I was like, it's fine. I love this house so much. We'll just do it a little bit at a time. And of course, it's like almost all done. Um, I just couldn't. It's nothing. I'm not touching the kitchen yet. I think that'll be a future project, but I wasn't planning on doing any of the bathrooms. And now I've facelifted one. I really did two of them. I was just like, you know what? Let's just get this all over with. I have 3 little kids, and someone was like, I can't believe your kids like live through all of this. I'm like, they just don't know any different. This is the 4th house that my twins have lived in, and they just are used to people in my home all of the time doing things. It's like, oh, they'll have like a painter was there a couple of weeks ago, and Monty, and they were like, oh, is Monty going to have his coffee with us? Like, they just are so used to it. It's hysterical. But the house that we bought is a beautiful house, but the previous homeowners had lived there for 30 something years, and every single wall was wallpapered in either gold or maroon. So yeah, it was very dated, really dark. I know that she worked with a designer at some point, and so
Right.
it was, beautiful
Right.
for somebody. It just
Right.
wasn't my taste. And I was like, you know what, we'll just rip down the wallpaper. I don't even have a plan yet, so we can't put new wallpaper up, but I can't like sleep at night with all of this yellow and red paper.
Right.
Everywhere.
No, I know. I moved into a dark house. So I'm about to do it over. Does the former previous homeowner live close by, or she moved out of state that she'll come back and see the house?
So she moved out of state, but she actually was in town visiting some family. And I happened to text her that day, and I said that there was a package delivered, and she was like, oh, I'm here. I'll come pick it up. And I was like, okay.
So did she come in and see what you did?
She did. She was so lovely. Actually, her daughter was babysitting for my kids for over the summer. So I think she had already known that like we moved in and wasted no time ripping down the wallpaper. So she had a heads up. It wasn't a huge surprise. But she said, you know what, it was time for somebody to change it. So she was not upset, and she's excited to see what we do to it.
No, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing the whole home, because I was very curious about that. I was like, wait, it's a show house? I thought it was just like a house they built and then hopefully eventually sell, but I didn't know it was all of the above. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know you all have a bunch of projects going on. And so I really appreciate you being able to do this without the other half.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure.
And that's it. Before we go, tell the people where they can find you, your website and your Instagram, please.
Website is toledogeller.com, and that's TOLEDOGELLER. And our Instagram is also at Toledo Geller.
Okay, go follow them. Thank you, Jess. Have a great day, Jessica. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Gail. Bye.
Bye, cutie.